YouTube, and welcome to my third HTML tutorial. This tutorial I'm going to be showing you almost everything there is to know about adding pictures to your website. This will include putting the picture itself into your web page, putting the picture as your background instead of a background color, and putting a link in your web page to the picture. Okay, so let's open up Notepad. Okay, so once again, just let me fill in these basic tags really quickly and I'll get to the pictures. Okay, so there's an entire newly tag for just adding pictures. Actually first I'm just going to make a heading just to make it, I'll make a heading 1. I'm just going to put pictures just so we know that this one is for pictures. Okay, so this tag, you can't put just the tag itself. You're always going to have an attribute. Remember, from my second one, I did quite a bit on attributes. So this tag starts out img for image. img is just the basic tag. Now you need this. Now the first attribute that comes up is src, source. So basically here you're going to specify the source from which the computer is going to find your image. And then remember your equals and quotations. I explained that about newer forms of HTML and how it won't recognize it. You know, let's just add this last angle bracket really quickly. Here is where you can either put in the URL link to the picture, or you can search through your directories and subdirectories on your computer and put down the path specified in here. I'm just going to go on, let's go on Google real quick and I'll get a picture off there. So let's bring up Google. Okay, so here's Google, and make sure it's Google Images. And for this example I'm going to use Neo from the Matrix. And here's a good one. Let's use this. You have to bring it to full size. And this right up here is the URL you need. So highlight it, copy it. Let's minimize this because we'll need it for later. Let's bring up our HTML. Okay, and within these quotations is where you hit Control V or paste. And this is the URL for your picture. So let's just see if this works. File, save as, again to the desktop. And again, we need to change a file extension to .html. I'm also going to specify this as for my third tutorial, so website 3.html. Save it, and let's bring up our new website. And here we go. This is our picture, followed by our heading 1 that says pictures. Okay, let's bring up our coding again. Okay, this second method is, I would say, use it only for personal use on your own computer. Because when you're specifying through directories and subdirectories, you have to actually get the picture onto the internet before your website can find it. So again, let's make the img image source equals quotations and the bracket. Okay, now this one we're going to bring up that picture in Google again, and this time we're going to save it somewhere onto our desktop. Okay, so here we are at the picture. Now this time, instead of copying the URL, you need to right click on it, click Save Picture As. Let's bring down the folders. Let's save it to the desktop, and I'm just going to call it Nia. Alright, so let's save it. Bring up our coding again. Okay, so in these quotations here, this is where the path you specify to your picture on your desktop is going to go. So to find this, we need to open up Run. So to do this, we go to Start, All Programs, Accessories, and Run. Now it's at this point where you need to remember where you saved the picture to or what you saved it as. So let's click Browse. And if you remember, I saved it to the desktop. Now whenever you're using Run, it always comes up here as Programs. We want to change this to All Files. And then we're going to scroll through here until we find Neo, right there. So we click this, click Open. And here is our directory path for the picture. So we click on it, click copy. You can also exit out of this. And within these quotations is where we hit Control V, and there's our directory path. So let's save this, Control S, minimize, and we refresh it, and here is the picture down here. Now when I click refresh, you may have noticed that it looked like it just moved that top one down and added the other picture on top of it. But actually that's not what happened. The one that showed up at the bottom was actually the directory path one. The one on top is the one where we use the URL. And that's why directory paths are faster, but should only be used for personal cases. Because the top URL one had to search the internet for the picture before we could display it. Okay, so creating a background image, basically you're taking an image, and depending on its size, it's going to repeat itself over and over to fill up the background. And all of this will be under your text and everything, so it won't interfere. But depending on what color your background is, you may want to change your font color to match with that so you can read it. So the attribute for this also goes within the body tag, and instead of putting BG color for background color, you just put background, because you're not specifying the color, you're specifying the background. So put equal, the double quotations, and this one we're going to have to bring up run again and search through our directories for a picture. So here's run, let's click browse, so let's go to desktop. Make sure to change this to all files. Let's scroll down till we find pictures, and I'm going to use this one. So let's copy, exit out of this. We can paste this into the quotations. And sometimes it already gives you quotations when you copy and paste it, so just in case, you're going to delete those extras. And also, I was looking at this background and I already tested it earlier to make sure it'd work for this video, and I'm gonna need to change the text to white just so you can read it, because I have that heading one that says pictures. So let's type in the attribute of text equals quotations, and you can use the word white, or I'm just gonna give a small just show you again on hexadecimal. Remember, all F's is white and all zeros is black. So let's save this and minimize it and refresh, and there we go. I have the background white text so you can read it, because if it was black you wouldn't be able to read it very well, and it repeats itself all the way down. Now it's hard to notice where exactly the dividing line is on the background because it's a continuous thing, but as you can see it is behind your text and your pictures, so it does not affect that. The one thing you need to change is just the color. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to make a link to a picture. Okay, so now here comes in a completely new tag. This one's actually pretty simple though. So to make a link to the image, to bring it up on the same web page, you use the letter A for anchor. You're anchoring a picture or a website to your website. Now A is basically just the tag, so now we need to make the attribute of href. This stands for hypertext reference. You're referencing a link to come up on your web page, so let's do the equal and the double quotations. I'm just going to use the picture from earlier just to speed things along a bit. And copy and paste this. Okay, now you need to put that. Now right here is where you type in the text you want to come up in the link you click. So let's just click here for picture, and then you end your anchor, because if you don't do that, everything else is going to be in the link. So let's save this, Control S, minimize. Now we refresh it and we scroll down, and it's kind of hard to see with this background, but it is, it is right here. Don't know why that's highlighting, but it's right here. So if we click on this, it brings up the URL from the exact same place where we got the picture. You may remember that little icon from where you found it, if you chose to do this picture. Okay, so to get back to your main page, you just click back. Okay, so I think this is going to be all I'm going to be able to show you in this tutorial. So this is Bryce Fritzel, and this has been HTML Tutorial Part 3.